Infowar.co. Today is October 22nd, and there has been a lot going on this week. Violent anarchists help French authorities crush pension protests from Infowars. Violent anarchists in France who have spent the last week pointlessly smashing shop windows and setting fires to cars have, quote, shot the protest movement in the foot, unquote, by demonizing legitimate union demonstrators and allowing the government to crack down with paramilitary forces, according to leading French labor experts. In Ecuador, there was a coup d'etat. Ecuadorian President Rafael Correa has given an exclusive interview to Russia Today Spanish channel. During the conversation, he spoke about some inside facts of recent coup attempt in Quito.
There's no doubt it was an attempted coup. I will support my position with arguments a bit later. In our country, the opposition can say whatever they like. It is believed here that being in the opposition means denying obvious things. They are even ready to argue that a circle has right angles, and if I had died that day, they would have said that I committed suicide. Anyway, day by day we get more and more evidence that this was an attempt to destabilize the situation. The thing is that classic coup d'etats, at least in Latin America, with troops, overturn of a president and appointment of a new military dictator as president are impossible in the 21st century. There are new ways to disrupt the work of the government. Presumably, a certain part of society, in this case armed people, national police.
Bill Clinton got confronted at USF about 9/11, Bilderberg from We Are Change St. Pete. Great job on that.
Talk about 9/11! I don't want to hear about sports anymore.
If you want to give a speech, why don't you wait till I'm finished?
Allow students to carry guns in college campuses. Texas legislators plan to push a law that would permit college students to carry concealed weapons on campus, citing the Virginia Tech incident in 2007 when a disturbed young Asian man shot and killed 32 unarmed fellow students in one morning before committing suicide. That story was never fully explored regarding the man's strange background and the true reason that he mercilessly attacked students. But what is known is that the police were woefully tardy in response, and many lives would have been spared if at least some students had been armed, as campus concealed weapons advocate argues. Now, back when I went to FIU, I used to have an empty holster all the time on campus in support of this. I think it's a great idea. People who already have concealed weapons permits know all the safety that's required. They are adults, so I'm definitely in support of that. Animal microchips linked to causing cancer from Natural News. Many veterinarians recommend them, and most animal shelters require them. Identification microchips injected into the necks of cats and dogs are touted as useful in recovering lost pets because the devices store owner and medical information. But are they safe? A new lawsuit against Merck and Company, maker of the Home Again pet microchip, says they are not, noting that they can cause cancer to develop in pets. Featured at chipmenot.org, a website launched to raise awareness about the harm caused to animals by microchips, the lawsuit alleges that Merck's Home Again pet microchip induces cancerous tumors in pets. According to the suit, the defendant's cat developed cancer after getting the chip implanted, and according to reports, other animals have gotten cancer after getting the chip as well. Media fail, whooping cough vaccine propaganda. When this article from CNN came out, it made my wife nervous, and I am sure it did millions of other parents. That is the point. The whooping cough vaccine, otherwise known as pertussis, which is part of the DPT vaccine trio, is highly dangerous. In a survey conducted by Dr. Michael Odent, it was found that children receive the pertussis whooping cough vaccine were 6 times more likely to develop asthma than children not receiving the vaccine. That's from Natural News. Finally, there is understandable concern among public health officials and parents alike as to what would happen without the vaccine. In the case at least one, the Fructose vaccine is known or suspected of causing sudden infant death syndrome, would appear to be worse than the disease. It also been implicated in bacterial infections, including meningitis. Jesse Ventura was on CNN today promoting his new season of Conspiracy Theory. Very riveting interview. Here it is.
Everybody in the studio is like looking at me going, wow. So listen, let's talk more about this. Bill O'Reilly, here's what he said. He said, Muslims killed us on 9/11. Is that not true? Do you find that not to be the fact?
Well, first of all, I investigate 9/11, and I have a lot of questions about 9/11. And, you know, the government and what they told us about 9/11 is strictly a theory also. What have they proven? I ask you this. We're a country by the rule of law. It's been 9 years now since 9/11. Why hasn't bin Laden been indicted for what he did? And you don't have to have him captured to indict him. That means the government comes forward with their evidence, presents it to a jury of citizens like us. If there's enough evidence, they do an indictment for murder. Why hasn't that been done?
Listen, we're going to talk a little bit more
Why
about
hasn't the system been followed?
We're going to talk more about conspiracy theories in your show specifically. I want to one more question on this topic, and then we're going to move on.
You can photograph that federal building. The right of photographers to stand in public places and take pictures of federal buildings has been upheld as a legal settlement reached in New York. New York Times. In the ever-escalating skirmishes between photographers and security agencies, the most significant battlefield is probably the public way, streets, sidewalks, parks, and plazas, which has customarily been regarded as vantage from which photography cannot and should not be barred. Under the settlement announced Monday in the New York Civil Liberties Union, the Federal Protective Service said that it would inform its officers and employees in writing of, quote, the public's general right to photograph the exterior of federal courthouses from publicly accessible spaces, unquote. So there you have it. So cite that if you're a photographer or a videographer or an independent journalist. Cite this case. Rand Paul throwing it down. Slams disgraceful opponent in Kentucky debate. Here's the video.
Give you 15 seconds to respond, Mr. Conway, and I'm going to give you 15 seconds more, Mr. Paul.
He still hasn't answered the two fundamental questions. Why did he join a group that was known for mocking Christianity and Christ? Why did he join it? It's apparent from Mr. Green in today's paper that he joined it, that they reveled in sacrilege. And values matter. And when is it ever appropriate to tie up a woman and ask her to kneel before a false god that you called Ecuador?
Okay, that's time. 15 seconds. Go ahead, Mr. Paul. Dr. Paul.
How do you respond to a guy who's going to quote somebody anonymously from 30 years ago that's untrue? You just out and out lie because you have nothing to stand on. Run a race as a man. Stand up and be a man.
Dr. Paul, 1 minute. Closing statement.
When this debate ends, you'll notice that I will not be shaking his hand tonight. I will not shake hands with someone who attacks my religion and attacks my Christian beliefs. These are something very personal to me. My wife, my kids, we take it very personally. And I will not be associated with someone who will attack my religion. This election will be about the future of America. Who has the best vision? We will try to keep the debate on a higher tone. I hope he will leave my church, my family, and my religion out of it. But who has the best vision for America? Do you believe government is always the answer, or do you believe in the people? Do you believe in the individual entrepreneur, the individual businessman and woman to create jobs? I believe in the individual. I believe in capitalism. I believe we are the greatest nation ever known to man. We're the most humanitarian nation ever known to man, and I will defend those rights. I will keep government out of the way of business. Thank you very much for coming this evening. Thank you for your support.
High fructose corn syrup contaminated with toxic mercury. This is from Natural News. New research published in Environmental Health and conducted in part by a scientist at the Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy has revealed that high fructose corn syrup, or HFCS, is contaminated with toxic heavy metal mercury. That means that many of the products using high fructose corn syrup may also be contaminated with the mercury. Carbonated sodas are sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, as are candy bars, bread, salad dressing, pizza sauce, fruit drinks, and 1,000 other grocery items. So please, I would suggest avoid it for now. We're doing it in our household. If you're a soda addict like me and my wife, definitely check out Whole Foods Market. They have 365 brand soda that uses natural cane sugar and coca bean, and it's pretty good and reasonably priced as well. As well as the bread, you'd be surprised which breads are using high fructose corn syrup, salad dressings as they mentioned, and so just check the labels. If you see high fructose corn syrup, avoid it. It's, on top of possibly having mercury in it, it definitely contributes to obesity and cancer. And lots of the research is here in this article. I cross-referenced several different sources on this one, so please check it out. That's news for this week. Thank you very much, and check us out next week.